Alrighty, we're now going to go on to part 2 of my foundation contouring highlighting tutorial. In the first part, I had covered how to properly prime the skin, the purpose of primer, and how to lay down the foundation and concealer that's ultimately going to be the base for a completed look. Okay, so as you can tell, foundation's on, skin is even. Great. Next step is to contour. And what is contouring? Contouring is adding shadow to the face with usually a matte, darkish powder depending on your skin tone. It could be anywhere from beige to taupe to dark brown. And what it does is ultimately a matte eyeshadow has no light to it. It creates shadow and it makes things recede, whereas something that has sparkle or shimmer in a lighter color is going to make things pop. Contouring is really important because it sculpts the face. It makes you look thinner, actually. So it makes things look smaller, makes things look larger if you want them to look larger. So ultimately there are many different things that we can use, types of powders. There are two typical options that I go with, and one of them is a convenient sculpting kit by Makeup Forever, which literally comes with my highlighting shade and my sculpting shade, which is right here. That's one option. Another option is to use the bronzer of your choice. For me, it's actually Chanel, and it's Desert Coral Moisturizing Bronzing Powder. This is actually what I use daily to create a soft contour and to bronze my skin. But when I'm going for a more dramatic look, I do tend to go with the Makeup Forever. It's actually really convenient because it's one compact and it comes with two colors, as you could tell. And it's kind of hard to tell from the screen, but the white does have a subtle iridescence to it, whereas the beige brown shade is matte, straight up matte. Now, how do we contour? What do we use? We use a brush, and for me, my brush of choice is actually by MAC. It's the 138, which I believe was a limited edition brush, and it came out with the Sculpting Shape collection. But you can find similar tapered, soft, fluffy brushes. I could use a more defined brush, a smaller brush. I know MAC came out with another one, the 168, I believe, which is pretty much the same brush, only smaller. The thing is that you're going to get a very sharp contour, and that's kind of a deterrent for some people, so I like to use this brush. And it was kind of cool because my boyfriend at one point had asked me if I lost weight, simply by virtue of the fact that I contoured, so it's good stuff, girls. It'll make you look thinner. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that your brush is always going to deposit the most color at the spot that you put it on first. Where do we want the most shadows to be created on our face is the question. And the answer to that is we want it in the hollow of our cheekbones, which is ultimately going to make this part of our cheek pop. So we're going to create recessions here. We're going to create them under the jawline, and then we're going to create them at the temples. So essentially what you're doing is you're almost drawing like a figure 3 on the face. And exactly what I did, that's where our contour is going to be. So, to get started, I'm going to start on this side, obviously. I am going to apply this lightly. And let me make sure. And the beautiful thing about this brush is it is so fluffy that it just really blends that color really well. And keeping in mind the fact that we don't want to go too crazy, we always want to build. Another trick to knowing where to actually put the shape is, because some people don't necessarily know where their their jawline goes in, is to sort of, I guess, press your lips together. You'll see like the apples of the cheeks pop. I know it's kind of a silly face to make, and I feel a little bit silly making it, but essentially when you're smiling, these are going to be the apples of your cheeks, and we want to go underneath the apples of the cheeks to really accentuate that part. So that's what we're doing. And keeping in mind that we can always blend this in. I know it might look a little harsh, but it really just goes a long way in making our faces look much more defined. Okay, and underneath the jawbone, rather the jawline. Okay, there we go. And as you could tell, I didn't go too hard. I didn't want it to be too much. Going a little bit faster. We don't want to go to 1980s rock star, right? And my trick is I do like to blend a little bit into my cheekbone, just because I'm so pale. I want to have a little bit of color. I don't know if you can really tell, but I do have a really awesome soft contour on right now. And the trick is to make sure you blend it all well. I'm actually going to take a fluffier brush now, which is just a Bare Essentials foundation brush, and I'm going to make sure that everything's blended. You can kind of see that, right? You can kind of see that soft contour right on. Yeah, right there. That's the look that we're going for. There we go. Okay, now the second part to the face makeup is to highlight, and what good is contouring without highlighting to bring out the features that you want accentuated. Now, one option is to use the highlighting powder here in the Makeup Forever Sculpting powder. Another option is a liquid luminizer, which does the same job, only it's obviously a different medium. One of my favorites is the Smashbox Artificial Light in Flash, which is actually an opalescent golden pink. Yet another option is our Illamasqua powdered metal, and this color is Bebion. You can't even see that. And Bebion is a bright golden pink, and that's also going to be an excellent highlighter. Then we just have our typical peachy blush, and this is Smashbox in Flush. I'm going to play Eeny, Meeny, Miny, Mo. Smashbox is what I have in my hand, so that's what I'm going to use to highlight. And this is actually a color that has some sparkle in it. Now what I'm doing is, as you can tell, I'm popping out my cheeks just to accentuate the apples. And this color is really beautiful, and Smashbox products are really understated in my opinion. A lot of people don't really pay that much attention to them when they should, because if you could tell how beautiful that color is on me, I really love it. But that's it. Now I have blush on. If I want to go, you know, an extra step, I can put a little bit more of highlighter on with the Makeup Forever white powder and a fantail brush. And I'm just brushing that across. If we chose to, we could really go even further with the contouring. We can contour the nose. I'm not going to go into that right now. But if you are contouring the nose, you want to go down the middle and the sides with the darker color, and rather you want to go down the sides with the darker color and the lighter color down the middle. And that's going to bring the tip out, that's going to bring the sides of it in, and you know how that all works. So I'm not going to get into that too much. Last but not least is our finishing powder, and I'm actually going to be reviewing this on my blog, but this is the brand new Smashbox High Definition dual finish micro powder, and the awesome thing about this particular powder is that you can literally twist the dial. I'm going to open that up right there. And what you do is you twist the dial to get the desired finish that you want. So you can go with matte. You can go with a mix of matte and luminous. Turn this. Or you can go to straight up luminous, and you just shake a little bit out and put that on the face. I'm opting for luminous because I like a little bit of luminosity. And that is it. That pretty much concludes my tutorial on face makeup. Stay tuned for the second video, which is actually going to be my Makeup Forever Sunset Eyes tutorial. For now, bye guys!